um, uh, family-owned companies are just a little bit more nimble. They can make, there's a smaller group of people required in decision making, and I think that has been advantageous, especially in today's kind of economy of things rising in price every day, and feed, grain prices are higher, and all the things that go into the business decision making. There are still certainly plenty of food jobs in not family-owned companies, and those are fine too. It's just where I've ended up working. I think Simmons is a great place to work. They're very, we have some really great core values, and we treat each other with respect. It's important how we treat each other, how you treat people. We're encouraged to be curious and to ask questions and to make sure that we're looking into all avenues of answering a question to make the best decision for Simmons. We also have fantastic benefits Simmons has clinics that employees can go to that are free of charge. I think our insurance is the best that I've ever had. If I know you don't think about those things when you're in high school about insurance and healthcare, but it's important as you get older. And it's also great just to be, as I said, Simmons is so diverse, and having poultry, pet food, and feed ingredients. We just have we think about things differently, and there's a lot of different places to work. If I wanted to try to go work in pet food technologists also work in pet food, because a lot of people treat their pets as well or better than their kids, right? So there's a lot of humanization of pet food that has really grown that area of need in pet food for food scientists. So that is all that I have. Does anybody have any questions?
All right. Hey, thank you so much. That was amazing. I appreciate everything. Let me see here I am. Can you see me? All
Yeah.
right. Well, you seem to have covered a lot of stuff, most of everything on here. I would like to open it up to the students first. And if there are any students out there that have questions, now's the time to ask them. And then I will ask a few if we need. All right. Thank you. All right. Well, don't all go at once. All right. That's fine.
They're all asleep. They're sneezing.
It's all right. They're thinking. All right. So I do have a question or two. What specific, and I know you listed a lot of skills here, but like what specific math skills do you use? You were talking about formulas. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Tons of math. I'm sorry to tell you that you do use math actually in real life. So algebra a lot, you're giving, especially in poultry science. So if a customer, or sorry, in the poultry industry. So I mentioned that sometimes customers say, hey, I want you to make this for me. Sometimes customers also say, hey, here's my competitor's product. How close can you get this to me? So you go buy the competitor's product, and one of the on the label, when you're reading through the food label of the ingredients of food, the ingredients are listed in order of most to least quantity. So like if it's a poultry product, you know that the salt limit, you can read the nutrition label and get the salt estimate from that. And so that's kind of your basis. And then you just go and use algebra to figure out the rest. And sometimes the blend of spices may not be clear, but it's kind of and then from there we just start making the formula. But in like at McKee, I use geometry a lot actually, because if you think about a Christmas tree cake and how many Christmas tree cakes you can cut out of a certain area of cake going down the production line, then it comes down to geometry, length, width, and height, and the Christmas tree triangle, and then add the Christmas tree trunk. And so that all of that comes into play. And of course, waste is important too. We want to waste as little cake as possible. So you adjust the area of the tree to meet the area of the cake and hope that you and adjust that all of those things until you waste as little as possible.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I'm an English teacher, so math, numbers. Oh, okay. We do have a couple questions down here. Let's see. We've got, are there jobs that you can get in high school that are food science related?
High school food, well, any, you probably don't want to hear this, but any food service, like any kind of restaurant experience is helpful. We do a lot of, and that was something that was new to me at Simmons, is how culinary heavy and chef heavy. We have two chefs that we work with. The restaurant world is extremely chef driven, and so any kind of just exposure to kitchens and food and how food is prepared, all of that really relates to food science.
All right. And then that we've got, how long does it take for a product to hit the market from the time it's an idea until it's on the shelf?
It depends. It's our favorite response in food science. It depends. It really does depend. So I would say when I was at Little Debbie doing those kinds of, because Little Debbie was more, we weren't serving a customer like being retail based. It was just what Little Debbie, our new idea for the zebra stripes was roll say. That was one of the last ones that was introduced when I worked there. So it's just the Little Debbie's timeline of getting a new product from the idea to launch. And I would say that one was maybe 8 months to a year, probably more like 8 months. At Simmons, because we are making products specifically for a customer, I doubt that there is any that I have done that have happened faster than a year to a year and a half. And some of those, I've been at Simmons almost 6 years, and some of those I started when I was first started here, and they're still not actually out there so that you can buy them. It just really depends. It depends on the market, and sometimes, like Domino's isn't too bad, but like Olive Garden, for example, sometimes they'll ask for a new product as a cost savings initiative so that it isn't as expensive, that they can charge you less. When you go to the restaurants, everything's so expensive anymore. But then something else becomes more important. So then it's like the cycle of, oh wait, yeah, we had this back a year ago, so let's come back and revisit it again. So it really totally depends.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. And we've got another one. What's the most fulfilling part of your job?
This is shocking for me to say, and I see Miss Jackson is on at Gentry. She will be surprised to hear me say this. That's my sister. Is working with the people. I am really an introvert. I can go all day without talking to people, but I really enjoy making all the pieces come together with the people. So at McKee, I mentioned all of the different departments that are involved, and the same thing with Simmons. I'm just not the one who's coordinating some of those things, but seeing the maintenance piece fall into place, and this mixer is so engaged, he's doing a great job, and the stripes look perfect, and you see this new product. It's fulfilling to see a new product roll off the line for the first time. It's really exciting. And then when the customer gets it and they're just so excited about it, and it launches and it's a big success. It's just a lot of fun.
Awesome. Good. I was also wondering, how much writing do you actually do in your day?
I do a lot because of my research that I do. So anytime I do because I'm getting older and my memory is not like what it used to be. Anytime I do collect some data or work with a customer on, I've been working with Chick-fil-A actually on some texture stuff for their meat, their chicken. Anytime I kind of complete as a data set, I write up a little summary of it, because I'll forget what I did, and then 6 months from now when somebody asks me a question, I won't remember what that is. So I write a fair amount. I'm usually writing up a report or 2 or 3 every week or so.
With all that research, I figured you were writing reports too. Does your job allow you to travel?
I travel quite a bit. Those of us in R&D travel, I say quite a bit. It totally also varies. Obviously with COVID, we haven't traveled too much, but because we have customers throughout the country, we'll go and see them at least usually 2 or 3 times a year. I kind of go through seasons of travel. This summer I was in, I think within 6 weeks I was in Pennsylvania, Michigan, and I don't know, 3 or 4 different places within just a few weeks. So there is definitely travel involved in this job. Now, when I was in McKee, not so much. I traveled, the home office for McKee is in Tennessee. So that was kind of the main place that I traveled there, was going to meetings and such in Tennessee. But
Right.
yes, there is travel.
There's travel, and then you also have factories in different parts of the country. So
Right.
going there
Yeah.
too. Yeah. All right. There was one thing that I wanted, because you talked about you had all these science classes and the science side was awesome, but it was the people side, having to actually like be in between stuff. Is there a college class or a class you wish you had taken to help you gain those skills before you became their manager, I guess?
Gosh, if there was, I sure should have taken it. I'm a terrible manager. I like working with people. I do not like managing people.
We have classroom management classes, so I was wondering.
Yeah, that would be, I would suggest that really. And I took a lot of business classes because I did, even though I dropped the education piece, I continued with the business part because I like the business part. I like economics and I like accounting, which has actually been very helpful. Just kind of business management, but that's not people management. So I mean, I took psychology, I took sociology, those not so much. You know, we all know people, all people are different. Anybody that is around people anywhere knows people are different. But yeah, if that would be a good thing to take if there was any kind of like project management with people.
For people, yeah.
Be helpful. Yeah.
What about like retirement benefits? You've got insurance and tuition assistance, anything like that? Oh,
We do have tuition assistance. Yeah, we have tuition assistance for at Simmons, as long as you make a B or better in your class and the classes are related to kind of your job. I'm actually taking some statistics classes right now because I've gotten into doing a lot of statistics. So I'm working on it's kind of a minor in statistics through Texas. But as long as I make a B or better in my class, then Simmons will fully pay my tuition.
Oh, that's nice.
There's a cap on that. It's not, you can't work to take a 15-hour semester, but if it's working with your boss, if it's related to your job and will improve your skills, my skills, which the statistics certificate program is, that will improve my skills to help Simmons, then definitely tuition assistance. Retirement benefits, yes, absolutely. We have a 401k program that's pretty good. They match up to 4%, 5%, 5%, I think. Nice. And then, of course, you're investing your own money.
Right. Awesome. How about advancement within your company?
There's definitely room for advancement. That's one of the good things, and one of the better things, I guess, from Simmons to McKee. At McKee, because headquarters was in Tennessee, if I wanted to advance, I would have had to move to Tennessee, which you can do if that's something that interests you. Sure, that was fine. It wasn't right for me, but any kind of advancement in mind, because I was in more the technical area, I would have had to. That's going to be the case with a lot of companies, but that's one of the good things about Simmons, since headquarters is here, and I want to stay in this area. Yeah. Then there is more room for advancement locally, and then if you want to move to Canada, then work in pet food, you could. And I think that's a good question. I think that's one of the things that you may want to keep in mind as you, no matter what field you get into, is if you want to stay locally, just be aware that there may or may not be the opportunities that you want depending on the company that you work for. But if you want to move even around the world, if you want to move around the world, food is the place to work for that, because there are global. I have a friend who I worked with here at Simmons for 2 years, and she wasn't happy with the opportunities that were here. And so she moved to Nestle. She currently works in Cleveland, Ohio, but Nestle is a global company. So, I mean, she's really looking at moving to Switzerland at some point. And
Well,
my boss actually he worked for Unilever, which is a huge food company. He lived in England for 2 years. That was his first job out of college, was a food scientist in England,
moved to
working in the beverage area. So there are those probably, I mean, I don't know about every industry or every occupation, but depending on what you want to do with your career and your life and where you want to go, food, there is something in the food world that can take you there. Because we have at Simmons, even though Simmons is local, we have nearly all of our ingredient suppliers have, global locations and global things to do. So you don't have to stay in Northwest Arkansas if you choose not to, but if you want to, there's also a lot of food opportunity here.
That's amazing. Anybody else have a question? Because I'm all questioned out. I really appreciated and enjoyed your presentation. Thank you so much.
All right.
Looks like we're not any more questions. So thank you so much. I do appreciate it again. It was amazing.
And as I said, my email information is in the chat. If anybody has a question later, feel free to reach out.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, you guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.